Colton is a railroad town. They've always had the railroad in their town, right through the middle of town, in fact. So they've lived with the railroad every day of their life.
Colton is the hub city. It is the hub city because we have an intersection for railroads.
Freight is extremely important to this economy here. This project really encompasses the whole idea of freight movement, goods movement.
40% of product coming in from the Pacific, from Japan, China, points east, south, comes through the Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Long Beach. And that 40% comes through Colton.
Much of that is intermodal freight, feeding the demand of consumers across the country, taking consumer goods as far east as New York.
Colton Crossing was the key bottleneck in Southern California rail goods movement and network. That's why this is a choke point in our economy. This is a project that's been talked about for 50 years.
It was a double-track diamond crossing. Not just one track and one track, it was 2 and 2 with 125 trains a day making that crossing.
From a logistics and rail perspective, there were a lot of trains waiting in the queue, which blocked city streets and emergency access in the city of Colton.
Cars would sit there for half an hour, 40 minutes sometimes, waiting for the train to start moving.
Every time a set of wheels would cross that Colton crossing when it was at grade, there was a thump. And you could hear that noise from blocks away.
These are families that have lived there for generations. And while the railroads are part of their life and have been for generations, it has also been a challenge because of how close they are to them.
I was told at the beginning of this project that there was no way it could get done. That meant a lot to me, just say, hey, you can't do this. And I said, yes, we can, and yes, we will.
We saw an opportunity to pull the funding package together when the federal government came up with their Tiger grant funding, and also when the state had the Prop 1B Trade Corridor and Infrastructure Fund program. The remaining of the funding was made up by contributions from the railroads.
There was an end date on the funding, and if we didn't meet that date, we would lose the Tiger grant funding.
We had a series of public outreach meetings. We realized that wasn't enough. We had to do more. We really wanted to be accessible. We had one-on-one outreach with businesses and residents to get a feeling and a sense of what it was that they needed and wanted.
What they did is that they brought the information forward. These are the benefits that Colton's going to see. One, we're going to alleviate the stopping at the at-grade crossings. Trains are not going to be parked for a long time, and the noise is going to be reduced dramatically.
It became very visible that the best solution for the Colton crossing was the flyover structure.
Flyovers improve operations immensely because it allows the free flow of traffic across a crossing, just like an intersection versus an interchange on a highway. It was a very constrained site where you had the UP mainline tracks right adjacent to the I-10 freeway. The UP had to keep both main lines open during construction at all times. And so the phasing and the construction of that project was very difficult in that constrained environment. There was a layer of extremely poor soils that we had to contend with, and we had to accommodate the seismic activity with our design as well. Well, there was a lot of brainstorming going on, obviously, to overcome these challenges.
We had to be innovative and creative on our engineering solution.
As we got into looking into cellular concrete, it seemed to be the absolute best solution. This has been used a lot in highway work when you have very large embankments. It helped us seismically because it's so light. It helped us that it is self-supporting, so we didn't have to have these large 8,000-foot retaining walls out there to support the tracks. And it also allowed us to leave the poor soil in place. The equipment made placing that material so easy, and we didn't have to interrupt any rail traffic at all using that product.
I think the legacy is not just to this area, but to the nation. But for the area, you were able to separate two freight lines. You reduced noise, congestion, air pollution, and you're able to move goods and services in a timely manner. There's nothing better than that.
Colton Crossing has had a tremendous impact on the local economy, from the creation of jobs during construction to just making the area much more efficient and much more attractive for businesses.
This project will benefit this region for decades to come.
I think the big takeaway was getting a project done that wasn't supposed to be able to get done. I mean, that's just awesome.
Relieving America's oldest bottleneck took a lot of cooperation and a lot of effort by a lot of organizations. And it all was done under budget and ahead of schedule. Hats off to this great public-private partnership.